my friends, Jacob's here one more time. Thank you for pressing the play button, for spending a little time with me, for hitting that like button and that subscribe button now. It helps to get a lot of people here so we can talk about all the craziness that's going on at the Burning Man Festival. You know, the place where they get together and they have like a dome. They call it the Orgy Dome, where everybody gets together. You can sign up online. You can just have, just flagrant relations with whoever. They do a lot of other things too. They do a lot of weird things. A lot of weird things. It's more of a ritual than anything else in this place in Nevada, and I'm sure by now you've seen that they're stuck there, stuck in the muck, in the mire, in the mud. Just like the scriptures say. This is something that we really can learn from. Now, here's what's weird about all this. I'm going to try to keep this short. About a week or so ago on the old X app, and by the way, follow me on X if you're on X.com, Twitter, the old Twitter, JacobIsrael71. Go over there and check me out. I share a lot more on there because I'm not, I share on Facebook and I'll get like 1 or 2 views, and I got thousands of people. So they don't like me over there for some reason. But on X, you can pretty much get all the stuff that I'm sharing. But I noticed a little while ago, maybe about a week or so ago, they started sharing this video again from the old BALENCIAga. BALENCIAga. Remember all the shenanigans and terrible, disgusting things that they were connected to? But this event right here that happened, it was called the Mud Show, and it happened in Paris, where they were walking around. I covered this, and I said, there's something going on here. Very eerie. But for whatever reason, I started seeing it on X, and it was being shared as if it, just happened. A couple of people even sent it to me, and I thought, I'm like, hey, I did a show on this. Why are you guys sending me stuff that I already talked about? But it turns out, maybe there was a connection to it. Maybe the old robots that are in charge, or the old powers that be, maybe they knew that something was coming at the old festival there at Burning Man. Yeah, maybe they knew, which is strange. Because remember about a week ago when there were climate protesters? They got run down? Yeah, they got run down. It was a big video about they're like, we're not putting up with the climate protesters anymore. They wanted to make sure that everybody got the Burning Man okay. They weren't going to let no climate activists shut that down. They smashed into the barricade. They arrested the people, and it was pretty scary. And it was a little bit weird because we've seen these climate activists get away with a lot of weird stuff before. But for Burning Man, no, they weren't going to have it. They weren't going to have it. They were going to make sure that everybody got there. Strange. Because now, while everybody's walking around in the muck and the mire and the mud, it looks a lot like that BALENCIAGA fashion show. Now here's where it gets weird. Because I said that's got to be more than a coincidence. And then this morning when I woke up, I got a couple of people that even tweeted at me. They're like, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I guess maybe I should tell people about it because I did a little bit of research. And it gets weird. Do you know that BALENCIAga, they're the guy that's in charge of that whole thing? With that mud show that went down where Kanye West was walking out there looking like something from Roblox and supporting BALENCIAga, which is, I keep saying that because you know the translation, what the translation really means. And you know how messed up this world system is and these people are. So it's pretty funny that you got all this stuff happening at an event that's kind of known for just debauchery and just, we're going to find ourselves, as opposed to humbling ourselves and seeking more within, asking God for the truth. Ask for the truth no matter what the cost, and you're going to get it. I promise you. But you go to a Burning Man festival and you may get something else. There's even some rumors that there's some terrible thing going around, some virus. They already have one person that actually passed away. There's an investigation going down about that. And there was some video going around at the airport where they supposedly shut down the airport because a Burning Man plane came in. All of that stuff supposedly is being debunked. So there's no Ebola at a Burning Man that we're aware of right now. We don't know if it's real or it's not real or whatever. But, that's the thing. There's so much fake news. Who knows what's real? But I'll tell you what is real. It's very strange that Ye is connected to all of this mud pit and all this stuff. And you look at these disgusting pictures of these models dressed, carrying little, teddy bears dressed in, with like collars around their necks and everything else. I don't even want to get into how just perverse and distraught I was when this all first came out. But the fact that Kanye was there, I said to myself, there's got to be a connection. I bet you there's something going down with the old Kanye, and I bet you there's a connection to Burning Man somewhere, and there is. His lady, Bianca Sensori, I think is her name. I feel really bad for this one. The way that he's, I don't know if he's dressing her. The way that she's been dressing, just the truly embarrassing videos that have come out and the pictures that have come out where, Kanye's wearing the mask and he's got his drawers dropped and all sorts of things that really just supposedly somebody who says, that Jesus is king and is supposedly all about the Lord. This is just not the lifestyle of somebody who's really seeking God, in my opinion. But what do I know, right? But Bianca's in the news right now. And why is she in the news right now? Because a lot of fans are saying that she got some kind of a operation for her booty. A picture surfaced from the old Burning Man of all things. This is in the news. At the same time, there's this connection, but it gets weirder. So I say to myself, I bet you that Balenciaga mud pit thing that was going on, I bet you the designer draws inspiration from Burning Man and all the spooky stuff going down there. And I asked the old ChatGPT, and this is what he said.
Hello, how can I assist you?
Did Balenciaga draw inspiration from the Burning Man Festival?
Yes, Balenciaga has drawn inspiration from the Burning Man Festival in the past. The luxury fashion brand has incorporated elements of Burning Man's unique aesthetic, such as bold and avant-garde designs, vibrant colors, and unconventional materials, into their collections.
Strange connection. It's a strange thing because now we know that there's going to be talk about climate and this, that, and the other thing. These things happen. So the question becomes, why weren't they celebrating the people that were trying to keep the people out? Why weren't they? But all the footage that you see of the event, it looks a lot like that fashion show. Even there was this wonderful double rainbow that appeared at one point. A lot of people tried to escape. You know who escaped? Chris Rock. This is interesting. The Rock of Christ, right? That's his name, Chris Rock. And we talk about him. He escapes the mud pits with some kind of influencer, and the video surfaced to him, waving, and he's wearing, his jacket, and he looks pretty clean and everything else. But you know who else escaped? And this was weird because it was trending. It was actually trending with Burning Man. Nestle. Who is this guy? This guy right here, looking all weird, wearing like some kind of he was like wearing like a scooter beam. He looks really just like I wouldn't allow him around any children. Just by the way he's dressed, and that's just my opinion because he looks weird. And it turns out, you probably don't want him around children because he won a big case for Nestle. That's right. His name's Neil Katyal. Neil Katyal with the beanie and the necklace of the person, writhing in horror and screams. Neil Katyal, he's a Supreme Court leader and lawyer. Oh yeah, and professor. On his X page, he's been on the talk shows, and this is a guy that's celebrated. He goes to the Burning Man wearing all that weird stuff. Well, he was the one that petitioned, the Supreme Court to let companies like Nestle off the hook for guess what? Child slavery. How about them apples? Let's not hold them accountable for this, he says. This is a weird thing. So he's actually connected to this. Child slavery, Burning Man, all of this stuff happening. I've been saying that this was going to be the year where the Lord was going to bring it. You know, if they be corrupt, the corruption is going to be revealed. Well, this guy, he made it out. He made it out. And I got to tell you something. I think that you know, he should get his act together and maybe just repent. You know, maybe just repent, because you don't want to be doing this stuff. Not today. Not with what's coming. It's an interesting time that we are living in right now. So whether or not, you know, the Balenciaga, you know, predicted that this would happen, I don't know. But I do know that there is a big connection to the two. And I do know that I saw that video going around on X before that happened. And here's what's weird. Paris mud show that went down on October 2nd of 2022 was exactly 303 days. There's that 33. 11 months exactly from when everything was locked down. Got like 70,000 people trapped there. And supposedly the weather's going to get worse. I don't know what's happening, but I do know that it's a disaster. It's a disaster. And I think that God is really speaking. So you gotta, you know, really, you gotta start taking this stuff seriously, people. You gotta start taking this stuff seriously. I want to read this to you, just so we have something. This is from Psalms 40, and this is what came up to me. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me, and he heard my cry. How many times have we cried out to God? God, I need help. I need help. Listen to the people that were crying out. Listen to David, the psalmist, who wrote this. He brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay and the mud, and set my feet upon the rock, and established my goings. And he put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it, and many shall fear it, and shall trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man that makes the Lord his trust, and respects not the proud, nor such turns away from their lies. Many, Lord, my God, are your wonderful works which you've done, and your thoughts which are to usward, they cannot be reckoned up in order unto you. If I would declare and speak of them, they're more than can be numbered. What God is doing today and what God can do in your life, you can't measure this. Sacrifice and offering you didn't desire. God didn't say go on a 40-day fast. God didn't say, you know, go slit the throat of a bullock or a goat to you. No, this is what David's saying. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire. Mine ears have you opened. Burnt offering and sin offerings you've not required. Isn't this interesting? Because you go to a lot of these churches and they're like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. You know what the Lord wants? The Lord wants you to go to the Lord. The Lord wants you to go to God and say, Lord, help me. Teach me the truth. Get me out of this muck and this mire. The Burning Man festivals of today, they're going bye-bye. All of this stuff, it's done. It's canceled. There's even rumors that the head guy, the guy that like does that effigy, so strange, that this is the last year for him too. God is doing something today, my friends, and I think it's exciting. And I think all of you should maybe spend a little time in the scriptures. Read Psalm 40. I didn't read all of it because my voice is shot and I'm tired, but I wanted to come on here and I wanted to remind you. You got Chris Rock, you got the Rock of Christ escaping Burning Man. Why don't you escape? Why don't you escape the muck and mire of the hard times you're in right now? Why don't you pray? Why don't you seek more? Why don't you forgive? Why don't you love? Why don't you forgive and love? This is the thing that needs to be done. And forgive yourself. And let go of the shame. It's time for us to stand on that rock, which is Christ, that sure foundation of truth. It's time for us. So, is it all connected? Of course it's connected. Whether it was done on purpose or not, I don't know. But the Lord makes everything right in the end. I love each and every one of you. Do me a favor, will you? Get yourself some merchandise. Go to the description of the video, click on it. You can just go right to the Teespring website if the little bar doesn't open up for you. and help the channel out. It helps like you wouldn't believe. Enjoy this movie trailer. This, just kind of like, this is my way to imagine what the trailer of the movie from my novel, The Calling, which is just such an awesome book, an awesome read, and something that's near and dear to my life. If you get a chance, please do. Pick up a copy. Get a real hard copy and read it. Read it. Make notes. You'll go back again and again and again. I hid a lot of stuff. There's a lot of treasure in this. All right. I love each and every one of you. Stay away from the mud, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the East to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling.